third unit, static latches and registers and dynamic latches and registers. So before getting into the detailed theory, we will be seeing some basics related to memories. The title of this unit itself, sequential circuit design. In second unit, we have discussed only about combinational circuit. The explanation about behind sequential circuit is it is a combination of a combinational circuit as well as a memory element. So this memory element is connected at the feedback of combinational circuit. As per the structure, we can able to say that the output of a sequential circuit depends on the present input as well as the past history of the output. The past history of the output is obtained through a register or a memory. What it will do is it will have a trace about the current output and it will supply that output value to the feedback through the feedback path. It will supply to the input of that combination circuit. So in this unit we will be seeing how this memory can be designed, these registers. So we will be having two types, static registers as well as dynamic registers. So we will be seeing in detail about how we can able to build these registers. So initially we will be discussing about some timing metrics like setup time, hold time, uh, propagation delay, rise time, fall time, contamination delay, like that. Setup time is the time required to make the data ready for the execution even before the clock arrives. For example, according to this memory, clock is positive edge triggered. So even before the clock goes, clock rises, the time taken to make the data ready. So this time is known as setup time. Hold time is after your clock is high, how much time we are maintaining the same data, or uh, how much time we are making the data valid after the rise of the clock. So this is the setup time is the time required to make the data valid even before the clock rising. Hold time is after rising of the clock, how much time we are making the data valid. So that is known as hold time. If you see propagation delay, that is the minimum propagation delay is known as the maximum delay between 50 percentage rise of the input to the 50 percentage rise of the output. Simply you can able to tell that propagation delay as well as contamination delay is of two types. In that propagation delay is the worst case delay or maximum delay. Contamination delay is the minimum delay between when we are applying input and we are getting output. So that duration, that worst case delay is known as your propagation delay, and minimum delay is known as contamination delay. So rise time, as you all know, it is the time taken by the signal to rise from 10 percentage of its steady state value to the 90 percentage of the steady state value is known as rise time. Fall time is just ulta, the time taken by the signal to fall from 90 percentage of the steady state value to the 10 percentage of the steady state value. So in some textbook, they may have represent instead of 92 to 10 and 10 to 90, they may specify 20 percentage of the steady state value to 80 percentage and 80 percentage of the steady state value to 20 percentage. So some other explanation in depending on the textbook as well as the author. Depending on the application, they may have given the explanation in two different ways. And basically, we have two different classification of memory is known as foreground memory as well as background memory. Foreground memory is the memory which is used for that particular application. It is a small amount of memory. Background memory is like your the very big or centralized memory which is used for storing all the type of data for available for any type of application. Static memory, dynamic memory. Here we will be explaining about a volatile and a non-volatile memory. Non-volatile memory is the memory which is used to store the data permanently is known as non-volatile memory. Here, even though supply is not present, you will be having the data valid all the time. But if you go for volatile memory, uh, the memory will be available. The data in the memory will be available only for some short span of time when your supply is there. When supply goes off, you won't be having any valid data inside the memory. That type of memory is known as volatile memory. So now we can get into our basic concept required for this particular unit is known as latches as well as registers. So actually we have two type of latches, positive latch and negative latch. So why they call it as positive latch is basically we need to know the difference between latch and flip flop. So latch as well as flip flop both having clock. So some of the students keeping in mind that latches won't have any clock, but actually latches as well as flip flop both having the clock, but the triggering mechanism only differentiating the working of latches and flip flop. So initially, latches, if you see the explanation about latches trigger at the levels of clock. Levels means this level 1, level 0 is known as levels of clock. But flip-flops triggers when for positive edge triggering as well as negative edge triggering flip-flops are there. Edges are these rising as well as falling edges. So when a flip-flop which triggers at the rising edge of the clock is known as a positive edge triggered flip-flop, and when it if it triggered at the time when it encounters the falling edge, at that type of flip-flops are known as negative edge triggered flip-flops. Positive latch and negative latch. Positive latch triggers for level 1, positive level, and negative latch triggered for logic 0, that is negative level. Actually, what this triggering means, positive latch will provide the output as whatever we are applying as input when clock equal to 1. That is known as positive latch. So in this time, the latch will act as a transparent one. So whatever we are applying at the input, that will appear at the output. That is known as transparent mode. So positive latch will enter into hold mode when we are applying clock equal to 0. So at that time, whatever may be the previous value, that will get stored inside the flip-flop. When a positive logic 1 comes, the stored value will go out. So that is the normal working of a latch. The ulta case for negative latch, the negative latch will be in transparent mode when clock equal to 0. So when we apply clock equal to 0, whatever we are applying in the input, that will move on to the output. So negative latch goes into hold mode when we are applying logic 1. So at that time it will store the value. So this is the normal operation about how a memory is storing a value and how a memory is passing the stored value to the output. Now we will be seeing the structure of basic structure of latches and registers to store a particular logic 0 and logic 1 by the case of bistability principle. So bistability principle explains with respect to cascaded connection of two inverters. Actually, as per the structure, we have connected the output of the first inverter to the input of the second inverter, and output of the second inverter to the input of the first inverter. So here the figure shows the DC transfer characteristics of both the inverters, and so this is the characteristics of the combination of these two inverters. According to the structure, we have three operating points A, B, and C, out of which C is known as metastable. So why it is called as metastable is, so when we are fixing an operating point at C, so if some external noise, so due to some external noise, so if there any deviation in the potential value at point C, so there is a tendency that this operating point may move on to A or B with respect to the amount of noise which is affecting the system. So by seeing this, we can able to conclude that A is a stable point as well as B is a stable point. We have two stable points. That's why the stability principle is known as bistability principle. So A is known as logic 1 and B is the operating point B is logic 0. So in both the cases. And C is known as metastability. Metastability means when we are fixing the operating point at C, so due to some external noises, there is a tendency that this operating point may shifted to logic 1 or logic 0. So that's why it is known as metastability. By using the bistability principle only, we are going to utilize this uh, uh, to inverter structure for storing a logic 0 or logic 1 in your latches as well as flip-flop. So you might have seen all these structure while designing your flip-flops, SR flip-flop, SR latch, cross-coupled inverters here they have shown, but actually in the diagram of so you might have seen these type of structures in flip-flop as well as latch structures using NAND or NOT. So these are all the same case. These are all cross-coupled inverted structure also. So this concept only they have utilized here using bistability principle. So that's why for storing a logic 0 or logic 1 in flip-flop or latches, we are going to use this cross-coupled inverters for storing logic 0 or logic 1. So initially we are starting with the design of SR flip-flop. So, so this is the normal logic symbol of SR flip-flop. We have two input S and R. So depending on the clock, so we will be having the equation known as S plus R bar Q. So based on that only the SR flip-flop is working. So this is the normal CMOS clocked SR flip-flop. This implementation is very simple. So you can omit this S clock and R clock and see the structure. It's just an inverter. Two inverters connected in a cascaded manner. If you see here, the output of this is the output. The output of this inverter is connected to input of this inverter, and the output of this inverter is connected to the input of this inverter. So it is actually a cross-coupled connection of inverter. So we have applied bistability concept. So based on the clock only S and R are going to come out, right? So clock and S is connected in series. Here R and clock are connected in series. So based on that, S may come out or R may come out based on the design. This is the simple clock, the CMOS SR flip-flop. So it's a very simple representation. So we have S clock and R clock, which is connected to cross-coupled inverters. Next, very important concept is multiplexer-based latches. So you will be seeing three different designs. One is multiplexer based, the second one is fast transistor based, third one is transmission gate design. So initially we have to understand the concept behind multiplexer based design. So here the first diagram represent a negative latch. Why I am telling it as a negative latch? So input is connected to the zeroth pin of your multiplexer. So when I am applying, actually her clock act as a select line. When I am applying a 0 level clock to the as the select line, at that time only D will come out. So the latch, whether positive or negative, the naming based on based on which select line your input is going to appear as output. Based on that only we are going to name negative or positive. So when I am applying a logic 0 as a select line, if at that time only your input is coming as output, means that is known as negative latch. So here the case, you see D is connected to the first input of your, not the 0, first input of your multiplexer. So here D will come as directly to output when I am applying logic 1. That's why the latch is known as a positive latch. In the second case, when I am applying logic 1 to the negative latch, what is happening here? You see, here a feedback is path is connected to logic 1 input. So when I am applying logic 1, the previous value of your output gets stored. So it will be in a feedback loop. So it will be inside the loop only. From when we are applying the next clock, so this value will come out. So this is the normal hold operation of this particular latch. So when I am applying a logic 0, it will be in transparent mode. When I am applying logic 1, it will be in hold mode for negative latch. So if you see the positive latch, when I am applying logic 1, it will act as a transparent mode. When I am applying in logic 0, it will be in the hold mode. So we can move on to multiplexer based latches. So if you see multiplexer based latch, here also the case is very similar. So we have a multiplexer based design of transmission gate. So because we are trying with what we are saying, one is your normal input, another one is your feedback input. So here if you see, we are explaining the working only with respect to the NMOS. So whenever if you want to see the explanation about a transmission gate, so we will be looking onto the NMOS first. So here in the bottom transmission gate, NMOS is connected to clock, right? So when I'm applying clock equal to 1 here, so D will come as output. So it is, you can able to tell this as a positive latch. So when D is coming out, when I am applying clock equal to 1. When clock equal to 1, clock bar all automatically 0. So 0 will be applying to this PMOS and 1 will be applying to this NMOS. So this transmission gate will on for clock equal to 1. The same case when I am applying clock equal to 1 here, here it is PMOS, right? So it will be off condition. So here it is NMOS, it will be off for clock equal to 0. So this feedback loop won't be active when I am applying clock equal to 1. So the D will directly go to the output. So we can tell this as a positive latch. So the second case for hold mode, I am inverting the clock. So now my clock equal to 0. When clock equal to 0, this NMOS will off, and clock equal to 0 means clock bar equal to 1. 1 is applied to this PMOS. So this entire transmission gate will be off. So it can't able to sample the new D value. So the same case when clock equal to 0, this PMOS will be in on condition and clock bar equal to 1, right? So at that time this NMOS will be in on condition. The combined effect, this transmission gate will be on. So you will be having the loop effect. So whatever the previous value entered, it will be in the loop. So it gets stored here. So this is the hold mode with respect to this transmission gate design. So whenever we are seeing a transmission gate design, we have to look onto the NMOS connection on both sides. So based on that, you can able to understand very easily about the working of this particular thing. So master slave edge triggered register. So in order to get the explanation about master slave concept, master slave means So you will be having the first two, you will be having two stages of flip-flops or latches. So the first stage will be acting as master and second stage will be acting as slave. So based on the select line which is applied to the slave only, we are going to tell it is a positive master slave or a negative master slave. So it is a actually this is the master slave concept. Before that, we have to see uh, multiplexer based latch. Sorry, multiplexer based latch we have seen. Transmission gate we have seen. We have to see pass transistor based latch. So if you see, this is the pass transistor based design of latch. As I have already specified, so we have to see the condition when we are going to get the D directly at the output. So here you can able to see two transistors of both NMOS because it is a pass transistor design. One is connected to clock, another one is connected to clock bar. So now we have to see for whether clock equal to 0 going to obtain input directly to the output or clock equal to 1 going to obtain D directly to the output. So when initially we are trying with clock equal to 1. So when I am applying clock equal to 1, this pass transistor will on. Here clock bar will become 0, right? Thus this transistor will be in off condition. So normally when this transistor is on, at that time D will be directly going to the output. So this is, you can conclude that this is a positive latch. So when for clock equal to 1, we are getting D at the output. So in the second case, when I'm applying clock equal to 0, this transistor will off, so it can't able to sample the new value. And in the here, this clock bar equal to 1, when clock equal to 0, this transistor will be in on condition. So a loop will be generated based on this cross coupled inverter. So it is going to store the previous value inside this loop. So this is the holding output. So you can able to conclude that it is a positive latch. If you want to make a negative latch using pass transistor, simply vary the select lines. Here you can replace clock bar and here you can connect clock so that you can able to get clock and negative latch. So keep in mind that we are assuming that clock and clock bar are non-overlapping clock. So if you found any overlapping condition means you will be end up with 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlapping and race conditions may arise. So we are assuming here that clock and clock bar are non-overlapping clock. So this is a positive edge triggered master slave combination using multiplexer. So as I have already specified here, the name positive coming from the slave side. So you have to keep in mind that if I am telling it is a positive edge triggered register, then clock should be a positive latch. And ulta, slave should be a positive latch, ulta the master should be a negative latch. This positive is purely based on the slave configuration. So when I am telling it is a positive edge triggered register, so your slave should be positive latch and your master should be a negative latch. So we have already seen the design of a negative and positive latch. See here. So negative latch means D is connected to 0. Positive latch means D is connected to 1. So as per the design, we have specified it is a positive edge triggered register, right? So my slave mode, that second stage is positive latch and first stage your master is negative latch. So the design comes D will be appear, we are giving here, the Q will be connected to this particular D. This is the structure of, you see here, the same, right? Here the input is coming to logic, the first input of this multiplexer. Here D is coming to the 0th input of the multiplexer. So it is a positive latch, it is a negative latch. So the working of this particular design is when I am applying a logic 0 initially in order to activate master, when I'm applying logic 0 clock, so your multiplexer is going to sample the D value, the first D value will come in. Okay. So when I'm applying clock equal to 1, So at that time, so this master is going to store the previous value of D, and the current value of D will be coming through this slave mode. So D will be directly coming to the output. So this is your transparent mode. So transparent mode is working based on the slave, right? That's why we are telling it as a positive edge. So when I'm applying logic 1, my D value is going to directly come at the output. Now see, for the next clock equal to 0, at that time, slave will enter into hold mode. So it will save the previous value of D, and the master is going to sample the new D value. New D value will come inside. Likewise, for each and every clock equal to 0, your master will be in uh, transparent mode and slave will be in hold mode. So whenever I am getting a logic 1 clock, your slave will be in transparent mode and the master will be in hold mode. So this situation repeats, and as per the number of, as many number of D values coming, initially your master will sample it, and in the next change of the clock, the D value will go out. So this is the normal working of a master slave uh, configuration. The same thing we can able to connect using a transmission gate. So you know the transmission gate design of positive latch, right? So in order to generate a negative latch, replace clock by clock bar by clock, and again a clock by clock bar. So that will become a negative latch. If it is a positive edge triggered transmission gate based register means, so this positive latch is connected to the slave region. Negative latch should be connected to the master region. So likewise, if you are doing the connection using pass transistor means, actually it is a positive latch. It should be connected in slave, and replace clock by clock bar and a clock bar by clock, and it will become a negative latch that has to be connected to uh, master. So at that time, here no change, Q directly you can connect it to the slave region. Here actually Q bar, this not this value you have to connect to the slave. That is the only difference. So if you consider pass transistor design, this particular Q bar only you have to connect to uh, next stage, that is your slave mode. So this is actually your multiplexer based, sorry, transmission gate based design. So this is your positive latch, since NMOS is connected to clock, right? Here, here see your this NMOS is connected to clock bar. So it is a negative latch. So this is your master, this is your slave. Okay. Actually, if you see this particular structure, you can able to see how much transistors, how many count of transistor a clock going to drive. So if you see, you have three inverters and two transmission gates. So two transistors here, two transistors here, two transistors here. So 2, 4, 6, and here two transistor, here two transistor. Totally 10 transistor a clock is going to drive. Likewise, here a clock is going to drive a 10 transistor. So in each and every stage, the load applied to the clock is 10 transistor. It is very, very huge. So that's why we are, in order to reduce the clock overhead, we are going to modify the structure, and we are redrawing the structure using transmission gate. Here, the clock is going to drive only PC 2, 4, 6. Only 6 transistor it is going to in each and every stage compared to the previous one. Previous one clock driven 10 transistors. Here in each and every stage it is going to drive only 6 transistors. 2 due to this transmission gate, and each 2 due to this inverter. So we will be having 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 transistors. And if you see the working of this particular reduced load clock, load static master slave register. So initially, when I'm applying clock equal to 1, so when I'm applying clock equal to 1, here clock bar, sorry, clock equal to 1, clock bar will become 0. So we have to choose in the ulta. So initially my clock equal to based on the NMOS, right? Initially I am choosing clock equal to 0. Uh, so when clock equal to 0, this PMOS will on. At that time, clock bar will become 1. This NMOS will on. So your transmission gate T1 will be in on condition and T2 will be in off condition. So when T1 is on, the T1 is going to sample the D value, and D value will be inside this master. So now your D will be in transparent mode, T1 will be in transparent mode, and T2 will be in slave mode. As your slave is in hold mode, master is in transparent mode. That only I